Those remarks came after a flurry of changes at the Social Security Administration, cutting jobs and closing offices around the country, and tougher identity checks that may require in-person visits for older Americans who aren't that technologically savvy. What do you make of it? What are you hearing from your constituents, and what are you telling them to expect?
Well, Chris, good to be with you. This is a perfect example of reality, of what the Secretary is talking about. However, I might have framed it a bit differently because the Democrats have been fraudsters for years and years, trying to scare all of the senior citizens who are on Social Security or soon to be on Social Security, that they may lose their checks, Social Security may go away. That's not the way to do it. I think what he was saying is, listen, we will get it done. The fraudsters screamed the loudest. They try to take advantage of it politically, and yet the reality is we are going to do our job. And so I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned that we do the right thing. We keep the promise that was made, whether you like Social Security or not. It was a promise made, a promise given, and a promise needs to be kept.
And so folks can reach out to your office. I assume you're going to hear from constituents where there are these disruptions that the Secretary was talking about. So you've got 200,000 people in your district or so who are on Social Security, and you're going to be there for them?
We'll be there for them, as we have been for the past 16 years. So we will make sure that their appeals are heard and we address their concerns.
Okay, now let's go to education. Your bailiwick, you've been a strong proponent of the president's moves on education. Michigan receives some $2 billion in federal funds. That's about 9% of the Great Lakes state education budget. School leaders across Michigan have to get their budgets done by the end of June. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding what the moves mean for state budgets. So you're kind of wearing two hats here. One is you're a leader in your party in Washington trying to give legal force to the president's plan, but again, you're still a congressman serving constituents. What are you doing in Michigan to help make sure that folks don't fall through the cracks during this transition?
Well, Chris, we'll be there, certainly, doing our constituent work, also appealing to the state government and the local communities to do their jobs as well. I think the frustration that they're expressing of concern has not been realized yet, and I don't expect it to be. I heard the president on Thursday when I was at the executive order signing say very clearly, the funding for our state's education systems will not be disrupted. They will continue. But he went on to talk about the fact of doing it a different way, doing it a way that's more efficient, that we get the dollars actually to the classrooms, to the kids who need to be educated. You know, I've said, Chris, all along that the most important three things we need to deal with are the student, the parent, and the teacher. We get those 3 points of the equation right, and I think we'll do well. And the president is doing this move, along with the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, to make sure that we do those things, and education prospers in not only Michigan, but all across this country, because we're falling behind.
And to that end, what are you hearing from Governor Whitmer and leaders in Michigan about making this transition? Are they up to speed? Do you feel like they're going to be able to catch the ball here?
Well, the governor, all she speaks to is, I need more money. And yet more money has produced worse results in the state of Michigan, sadly. And we're in a competitive framework with states surrounding us like Ohio and Indiana that are actually doing it better. So I'm hoping that the governor will attune herself to the needs of the students. We will get the dollars there. I think we'll do better. IDA funding, for instance, used to be cared for under Health and Human Services, where disability services probably ought to be. If we get those dollars back, we would expect the governor to use those appropriately, and all of the local districts get their IDA funding that is required by the law. We also see Title I funding going to the challenged districts with students in underperforming areas. That needs to get there as well. And the president made it very clear that those dollars will continue to go to the classrooms that need it all across the nation, including Michigan.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.